This plain silliness derives from Rakugo, an old style of Japanese comic storytelling. Takahata is trying to tell Rakugo in Pom Poko. The story of the movie is similar to an episode called Nikai Zomeki, but it's unlike other Rakugo. Zomeki means to make fun of. There is a young master who loves going to Yoshiwara, a traditional Japanese red light district, so he's never home. The head clerk is mad at him, but he says, "I don't like going out. I love staying home. I won't leave home if someone opens Yoshiwara on our second floor." The young master is being unreasonable, but the head clerk says, "Very well, give me some time." And 3 months later, the head clerk comes to the young master and says, "It's ready. Come upstairs. It's open from tonight." The young master is astounded. "You mean Yoshiwara? On the second floor?" I mean, Yoshiwara is not a building, it's a district. But the head clerk says he built it on the second floor. The young master goes up the stairs and ta-da! He sees a long avenue with red lanterns. It's Yoshiwara, but there's no one there. I mean, of course, right? But the head clerk says, "It's better this way. Imagine a non-busy hour. You may not get laid, but you can roleplay flirting with 1 or 2 prostitutes waiting for a customer." So the young master walks along this huge avenue. I mean, it's Rakugo, so anything goes. There are alleys and telegraph poles on the roadsides. Then a prostitute approaches him, and while they're talking, a high-ranked prostitute interrupts them, saying, "Why aren't you coming to me?" The 2 prostitutes try to steal the young master from each other, and a male servant notices them and joins them. So the 4 quarrel endlessly. The Rakugo comedian acts out all 4 characters by themselves. The audience cracks up at this story. It's funny because it's so surreal. Yoshiwara on the second floor sounds like nonsense, but anything goes when it's told verbally without any image. The audience imagines the surrealistic scenes and laughs. This is not fantasy, it's not believable, but the unbelievable story makes people laugh so hard. The comedy element of Pom Poko is close to this surrealistic Rakugo. People who listen to Nikai Zomeki mock the story going, "Give me a break." Takahata wanted the audience of Pom Poko to have the same point of view. Takahata criticized the recent movies for being too subjective. There are too many melodramas, like where the protagonist's girlfriend gets sick at an airport lobby and he yells, "Somebody please help!" This kind of movie demands the audience to empathize with the characters in order to appreciate the movie. But to do so, the movie omits the possibility that because of the yelling, the lobby may get crowded by the people who gathered to help the girl, and the crowd may distract some travelers from catching a plane. The movie only focuses on making the audience empathize with the protagonists. Takahata wanted to make sure that his audience could watch his movies with objectivity. Takahata made a subtle depiction of an empty rice bowl in Grave of the Fireflies to show how the protagonist's boy couldn't refuse hunger even in the morning after his sister's death. Takahata never hides that kind of blunt reality. Pom Poko does the same in the climax scenes. The parachute's made of scrotums. It's Takahata's version of the physical gag, Mr. Elephant, in Crayon Shin-chan. It's a silly joke, so take it as a joke. But people take Ghibli movies too seriously to take it as a joke. For a silly scene, they expect an obvious sign that clearly says so, like in Shin-chan. However, Takahata, who majored in French literature at Tokyo University, won't do anything that senseless. In the last scene of Pom Poko, the raccoons create an illusion of the good old Tama Hills, and people get deceived. But at the same time, the raccoons deceive themselves and run towards the nostalgic illusion where they used to live. Then they run into humans who see them and say, "Raccoon, so cute." They're tricked by their own illusion. It's such a cruel scene. But of course, You see, this is sarcasm. The raccoons jump at the illusion of Tama Hills, which is their own creation made of their scrotums. It's sarcasm towards Miyazaki, who always ends up falling in love with the female characters he creates for his anime. But Takahata's sarcasm is way too deep. He's like serving us this Tokyo University French literature flavored espresso, which is too deep even for me to fully appreciate it. The cruel last scene of Pom Poko is Takahata's criticism of Miyazaki's tendency to fall in love with his own characters. Takahata is telling him, "What's wrong with you?" Takahata, who can do this, is just amazing. It's already been an hour. I'm in trouble. Let me just give a quick rundown of the next lecture. We'll go over The Wind Rises in the next lecture. I titled it The Love of a Psychopath.